My name is James. I'm the Operations Manager here at buildmyrank. Today we're just going to do a quick live walkthrough of the buildmyrank system, going through the dashboard and the user interface. If you're new to buildmyrank, we'll have a lot of good information, and if you've been using this for a while, then maybe you'll pick up something new, and we'll have a Q&A at the end of the walkthrough, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you have about buildmyrank, or if you just have any general SEO or search marketing questions in general, I'll do my best to answer those as well. Let's start with just a quick run through of how buildmyrank works, the overall process. You start by logging into your account and creating a project where you then add your domain. That domain is reviewed by one of our domain moderators. On this chart you can see that I have the general types of domains that are not allowed on the network: adult, gambling, pharma, just indecent, thinly developed or underdeveloped sites, poorly written, etc. And of course you can read the full domain acceptance guidelines on the buildmyrank site. Once you have your domain approved, you can then begin uploading posts. Those posts are also human moderated. We also do some machine moderation to look for duplicate content, spun content, things like that. Any type of terms that we look for that violate our content guidelines is also machine moderated. A lot of our articles are human moderated though, and we look for good quality content that makes sense, that's readable, it's not very spammy. And you can see our rejection reasons over there to the right. Like I mentioned earlier, spun, duplicate, unreadable, irrelevant content. We want the content to have something to do with the links that you're linking to, the site you're linking to, and the anchor text. And again, we don't want overly, this is a marketing post. You don't want to put a lot of any contact information or a lot of overly marketing language in it. Once a post is reviewed, it is then queued for distribution on the network. Each post is selected, randomly distributed to one of our sites. We do remove the last 1,000 sites that a post has been submitted to, just to ensure that you're not submitting to the same buildmyrank site multiple times. At the rate that our network's growing, that seldom ever happens. We do, even with power users, that removing the last 1,000 domains usually does the trick. Once the article or post has been published, we'll go ahead and ping a lot of different RSS aggregators to try to get that post indexed quickly. We'll also start randomly selecting social bookmark sites and Web 2.0 sites to also help in that indexing process. Now, we do get a lot of questions about, well, can I see those links? Where can I find those links? Typically, social bookmarking links, Google just doesn't keep those in their index very long. This is more just for an index, making sure the post on buildmyrank gets indexed. You will see Twitter links and larger Web 2.0 properties. Those links may show up, but especially with the social bookmarking sites, those are going to be hard to find. But we do, at a minimum, like 20, and we'll continue doing another batch for up to 2 weeks to get that post indexed. We don't have a 100% indexation rate on buildmyrank. We shoot for about 95% in that 2-week period. Usually we see about 50% of our posts being indexed, I think within 5 to 7 days is the average, and then 14 days out we see 90 to 95%. But once the post is indexed, then of course you start receiving link juice from that. And we do have sites ranging from PageRank 1 all the way to PageRank 6, and they are as old as 10 years. So a lot of good age domains on the buildmyrank network. So let's go ahead and take a look just at the buildmyrank dashboard. You can see I've logged in here. I'll go ahead and hide my message. From this initial dashboard, get a nice little snapshot of your account. See, this is a relatively new account that I've set up just for these webinars, but you can see that I've got a single keyword from a post I uploaded last week. I've got my top keywords for the last 12 months. You can see I've got a little headache site, and we're going for some of these headache-related key terms. And I have a little snapshot of my page rank distribution. This is the page rank of the home page of any of the Build My Rank sites that my posts are being published on. So you can see I've got 11 distributed posts, 1 on a PR1, 4 on PR2, and 6 on a PR3. So not too bad. Now the post indexing rate section here at the bottom, you can see this is just through the 3rd of February, so there's at minimum a 2-week delay on that. I can see that the network-wide indexation rate at the top, close to 100%. Right here, I'm not showing anything because this is a new account. So, but when we go to the post page, you can see that most all of these posts have been indexed already. Let's take a look at our projects page. This is where all of the work really begins. To get started, you'll need to add a project. And projects are just ways of organizing your domains. As an example here, you can have your, if you've got a bunch of insurance sites, you can make that into one project. If you're doing your e-zine and article sites, you can put all those into one project. You'll want to make sure the project is active. If at any time you want to pause work on all of the domains in a project, say you had a batch of posts that you don't want to go out, or you want to go back and edit or something like that, you can just pause the whole project, and that all post work will stop on any domains in that project. So once you create your project, you can go ahead and start adding domains. So I've got a project here, e-zine articles, and I've already added a domain here, but to add additional domain, I can just click Add Domain, select my project, select a category and a subcategory. If you don't have a subcategory, a lot of times there's an other category that you can select. You'll notice we don't have a category for every single niche available. These are pretty general. Build My Rank sites are multi-topic sites with these different categories and subcategories. So we do keep it a little general. Just do your best and pick the category that you feel most closely matches your site. So then, of course, go ahead and enter your URL. You'll notice that throughout the interface, we have these little tooltip helpers, and you can just hover over those to get an explanation of what that function does. Once you enter your domain, you can select your daily post limit, and this is important. Random 1, 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 10, and scheduled. Random means that we'll randomly distribute anywhere from 1 to 10 posts to that domain based on what you have in your queue. So if you've got 50 posts queued for distribution, we'll take 1 to 10 of those every day, just a random number. A lot of people like that option because it makes it seem a lot more natural. If you have a set number or set range, you can do 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 10. Those all work fine. The only way to max out the the 10 post limit is to use the scheduled function. And if you select scheduled for your domain, you'll have the option once the post has been approved of going back in and just setting up that schedule. And you'll want to do that a few days ahead of time. Make sure you've queued your posts, giving them enough time to work through our moderation process before you start scheduling. And by the way, be sure you utilize the question and answer function in Meeting Burner throughout this. If you hear something that you want me to go back and explain in a little bit more detail, just type that question up in the top left in the Q&A section, and I'll certainly get back to that. I'm kind of going through this in a bit of a hurry, but we'll definitely want to cover any areas that you need additional explanation on. All right, back to this. So we have the add media to post. If you want us to just do a best guess and add an image or YouTube embedded video to your post, you can certainly have us do that. I find that it's accurate the vast majority of the time. We just do a keyword analysis of your post and then go out and search for an image or YouTube video that we can insert. Now, if you're an agency and you have clients that have specific guidelines about what they want their brand associated with, then you may not want to use this option. A lot of people don't want a competitor's video to show up in their post. There's really nothing we can do to prevent that. We don't human moderate the media that's inserted. This is all done programmatically. So if there's some special restrictions, just realize that you probably want to just do that manually and not use this option. So next section down here, we've got our link setting. This is not necessary unless you're planning on purchasing outsource credits and having BuildMyRank write articles for you. If you plan on having us do your post, you'll need to go ahead and fill this section out. And it's really easy. You just add your URL, and you can do your root URL and all of your inner pages as well. And then, of course, you just put your anchor text. If you want to use groups, you can use groups if you want to group these into your own organizational units. Anyway, at that point, you just go ahead and add that and set a link. We also have a bulk feature where you can do this just off of a copy and paste a text file if you want to do that. One thing about you adding domains, I get a lot of questions about, yeah, I want to build links to my inner page, but it only accepts my root domain. Well, you just need to add your root domain to this. That would just be the, in this instance, example.com, and that's it. It doesn't matter what pages, what inner pages you want to build links for. You can do that in the link section or just add those links directly to your post. No need to enter the whole URL in this section. So that once you add your domain, you'll see it show up here. Here you can see the eZine article is added. We do have a lot of sites like eZine and YouTube that are just and you'll want to do it in the form that I've done here. Of course, I've got an eZine articles page that I'm wanting to build links to. That of course is an inner page with a really long URL, but I just need to enter the root domain here for approval. And those are whitelisted, so they just get instantly approved. There's no way. If you're just marketing your own site, it's going to be maybe 8 to 12 hours for a reviewer to look over that domain and make sure it is acceptable according to our domain guidelines. But sometimes even less. It just depends on how heavy a day our moderators are having. So you can see I've got my YouTube video pages here. I can just enter YouTube as the domain, go back in, upload a post that is has the long link to my YouTube page if I want to. We also accept a lot of different Web 1.0 pages as well. One important thing about archiving, as you can see, I've got some archived domains in this account. We have a lot of users. They only have 5 domain subscription. That's fine. And you can have 50 domains in that 5 domain subscription. It just means you can only market 5 at any one time. So what does that mean? Well, if you've got all of your posts in the queue, and you've got your domains active, you don't want to archive anything with posts that are in the queued or pending status. If you do archive an active domain, those posts won't go any farther. They'll just stay queued or pending. So make sure those are clear. Make sure you've got zeros here in your domain. For instance, if I archive this domain, this pin post will just stay pending forever until I unarchive it. If you've archived domains, you can just click the Show Archive. And I can see I've got 2 archived domains here. And at any time, I can just select the unarchive, and those will just be added back to my active domains. Let's take a look at post. This is the post page. When you have, you can filter all of your posts by status, all, live, queued, pending. If you have outsourced posts, you can view those pending posts here. You can look at your saved, you can look at your rejects. If I just do all, I can see a full list of posts submitted. And we can see the different columns here. Index is probably the one that most people pay. Next, once it's checked, we'll mark this as yes. We check about every 3 to 5 days. Once we've checked, we'll not check it again. We just consider it indexed. There's usually some slippage over time. Usually maybe 5 to 10% of posts will be unindexed 2 or 3 months later. But that's normal for this type of thing. The Google index is, of course, dynamic. And we just don't have the resources to just continually ping Google and continuously on all the thousands of posts. But if it says yes, it was indexed last time we checked, you can verify by clicking the Find Links, the little binocular button here. And all that does is go out and query Google for with a random snippet of your post. And then you can see which Build My Rank site that post has been published to. We also give the homepage page rank of the Build My Rank site, the date we published it, date the post was created. If you select scheduled under your daily post limit, this is where you would go in and schedule that. I don't have a scheduled post set up, but this is this would be a hyperlink, and you would just click the scheduled button and select a date from the little calendar. If you've hired writers, you'll also see their name show up here. We give you keywords, of course, in the title of your post. You can search your post by keywords, filter by domain, writer, and publish dates. Go on to our Write Post page. This is probably a page you'll see a lot. Pretty self-explanatory. It's just a simple writing editor. You select domain. Once you select the domain, the default category. And you can change this category if you like, to make it better match the post if you need to. Titles, they need to be at least 5 words long. We used to have 3 words, but we wanted to have a little bit more variation in the titles that we were getting submitted. As far as the body, in our post guidelines, 150 words per link. You can put up to 10 links in a post, and you can have up to 1,500 words in your post. That's up to you. If you want to insert your own images or YouTube video, we have that available here. You can insert image. With the YouTube, you just need to put your video URL. You've set up links. You can also just insert those into your post. We also have an autosave feature. About every 5 seconds, your post will be saved as long as you're typing in it. So if you need to stop for any reason, you can see it right there. So as long as you're typing, that will continue to autosave. So once you have your post content done, you can submit or add another, or you can just save that post and come back to it later. And whether you've saved it or auto-saved it, you'll see it on your post page, and the stats will be saved. So our next function is the import post function, and we have a whole video on this, so I won't go into too much detail. But you can load our sample CSV and place your post in a spreadsheet, and that allows you to just upload maybe 50 posts on a domain, however many you'd like, all at one time, and kind of fire and forget it. You can also, this is also a good way to schedule posts. If you're wanting to schedule posts and you have a large amount of them, I certainly recommend using this feature. It's pretty easy. You do need to do one spreadsheet per domain, but you just select the domain, upload your file, and you'll get feedback from the system if there's any errors in your HTML or the post doesn't meet the minimum guidelines for some reason. Last link on the post page is outsourcing post. Also pretty simple. You just add credits to your account. Once you have some credits, you just select your site and add to your order. The default is to write one 150-word post for each keyword. If you'd like to change that, just uncheck this link and make sure you have multiple keywords up here. And you can specify the number of posts that you'd like them to write based on those number of keywords. I do recommend reviewing posts, especially if you're writing, if it's your first time using our writers. Go ahead and review them. You know, we do moderate our own writers just like we do user writers, but different people have different expectations about the quality of posts, and you know, especially we have a lot of instances when a client may not want posts written a certain way. If that's the case, definitely review them. Our writers do a lot of these posts a day, so keep the instructions as simple as possible and keep them realistic. You know, we're looking at short 150-word posts most of the time. They don't have time to go and do 15 or 20 minutes of research on your product or site before they write a few of these posts. So just keep temper the expectations, keep it realistic, and you won't have any problems. So once you outsource, though, you can do as many of these orders as you have credits for. Again, submit, and add another. You can just go through, add as many as you'd like. Last major page here is just the writer's page. If you're doing any type of volume or if you're having other people write for you, I highly recommend you utilize this. Either create them a new account, or if they're already a BuildMyRank writer, their name will already be in the system. What's great about this function is that you really get to monitor your writers individually, look at their approval rate, the number of posts they're doing for you, and you can assign individually projects. So you can have one writer just working on a few of these projects if you'd like. You can create a writer account yourself. like us, or like I just did, if a writer already has accounts, it will just auto-populate. At that point, you just assign the projects. And of course, we have our terms down here. Just understand that writers are your responsibility. Their approval rate is your approval rate. So, we do have some minimum guidelines as far as post-approval rates. We like everyone to be 95% or greater approval rate. But if you fall below 85%, you may find yourself put on probation or your account put on probation. Writers, same thing. If we see them falling below 85%, or if they're continuously submitting poor content, they'll be banned. Last two tabs are just messages and support. Pretty self-explanatory. If we have any systems-wide outages or anything like that, we'll post a message here, and you'll see a little icon light up by the tab. Support. Have our link to the ticketing database or knowledge base and the ticketing system. When you go to support and submit a ticket, you'll have an opportunity to search the knowledge base. I certainly recommend reading through some of the articles on the knowledge base. We have some videos there as well. Also, our blog is a great place for just general SEO advice and additional explanations of Build My Rank features. You can also share any feature requests you have. This is through a site called Get Satisfaction. We do read those whenever we have a feature request submitted, and we try to work those in as often as possible. And of course, our additional resources here are FAQ, post and domain acceptance, and our membership and billing policies is there if you need to refer to those at any time. So I'm going to conclude the walkthrough at this point and get to the question and answer.